Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm going to be reacting to Sadhguru on how to manifest what you really want. Now, how do I interpret that? How to manifest what you really want? That's very interesting. How I'm interpreting that question is, what do you really want in life? And to know what you really want in life. Because a lot of people don't know what they want in life, I'm guessing. We have an idea of what we want, but is it what we really want, you know? So basically, I guess most people, and I guess an example would be most people want to be happy. Okay, that is a want. But what does that really mean? What is it really that makes you happy? Is the question. So while you say, "Oh, I want to be happy," very simple. I want to be happy. But what does it mean? And I guess a answer for that would be maybe having a house and a family. That's what it means for maybe that person. That's what makes them happy. Not necessarily having a job, or maybe even having a job, is one of the components to make them happy. I'm assuming that's what he's saying, but not too sure, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. And we already got the first words up there. I have subtitle just in case. Again, I want to make sure I completely understand. There's still that last video I still don't quite understand about him, about the will and willingness and volunteer. I still need help with that one, please.
Even without doing any activity, you can still manifest what you want if you organize these 4 dimensions in one direction and keep it unwavering in that direction for a certain period of time. Now he believes Shiva will do it for him and it will happen. So is Shiva going to come and build your house? No.
Yeah, of course not. Well, again, I do not believe in aspects of deities. Could there be out there? Could there be deities out there? Maybe, but in my opinion, there has been no proof to show that. And I would argue to say that I guess it would be almost impossible to prove that they exist. As sucky as that might be, but if there is one and he's all knowing and all powerful, or he or she or whatever, then they would know exactly what needs to be said or done to prove it without question.
I want you to understand, God will not lift his little finger for you. What has not happened till now on this planet can happen tomorrow. Human beings are capable of making it happen tomorrow.
And now, I would argue, why wait until tomorrow? Because tomorrow will never come, because tomorrow will always be tomorrow, but today is now. So, just throwing that gibberish out there. It's true though, in a sense, but I understand what it's saying. Basically, maybe you're not prepared now for it. You can prepare yourself now and do it tomorrow. But there are a lot of people out there says, don't wait, because you end up becoming like, I guess a lot of things that I do is you end up continuing to push it. It's tomorrow, and you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And the sooner that you get it done, the better off you are. Obviously, you want to be in the right mindset and ready for it. You don't want to just do it right away if you're not ready for it, but you cannot keep pushing it back.
Thing we as human beings have created on this planet was essentially first created in our minds.
Yeah. We completely agree. Yeah. Again, he brings up things that it's really just you don't ever think about. It's not an everyday thing you think about. And I guess that's something I guess you could say about wisdom, and I do believe him to be a very wise man. Is the fact that, yeah, I mean, it seems so simple. It's like, yeah, obviously, but it's something you don't think about, and that's what's very fascinating. And it's the sheer fact that we think of things we need, and then we think of, well, how do we create that? How do we solve that problem? That's something I do on an everyday basis. When there's a problem, I think how to fix it, how to make it easier. If I can't fix it, make it easier, or how to, well, not necessarily avoid it. I don't know why I thought avoid it. I wouldn't avoid it, but I'll try to fix it if I can. And if I can't, then I gotta move on, because if I can't fix it, I need to either find a different solution, or if it's unfixable, then I don't necessarily ignore it, but if there's nothing that can be done, then there's no point in sitting there thinking about it all the time. Move on, find something else.
All that you see, which is human work on this planet, first found expression in the mind, then it got manifested in the outside world. The wonderful things that we have done on this planet and the horrible things that we have done on this planet, both have come from the human mind.
Again, this is something I said before. I try not to make this last too long. This is freaking 17 minutes long. Is the fact that this is what I believe. We create our heaven. I don't mean heaven as in the biblical heaven. I mean heaven as in, if we make this place, this world wonderful to live in, then it is our heaven. It is also, how do I say this? I don't know what the proper term is for it. The complete opposite when I say heaven. If we make this place, this world that we live in terrible, it is still our heaven, even though it is awful. And what I mean, I don't mean that it's a great place to live. No, it's completely terrible. But because I say it's our heaven, it's because we have the power to make it whatever we want it to be.
So if we are concerned as to what we create in this world, it's extremely important that first of all we learn to create the right things in our mind, how we keep our minds. If we do not have the power to keep our minds the way we want it,
It'll be chaos.
what we create in the world is also going to be very accidental and haphazard. So learning to create our minds the way we want is the basis of creating the world the way we want.
Have a sound mind and have sound ideas. If you don't have a sound mind, you create chaos and destruction. That's how I'm interpreting it. Which, yeah, I mean, there's some mental illness out there. I think there is an issue with that in the United States, and it's creating chaos.
There is a wonderful story in the yogic lore. On a certain day, a man took a walk. He went for a long walk. Accidentally, unawares, he walked into paradise. Fortunate, isn't he?
Sorry, I had to pause there. I'll say yes and no. Because, I don't know if he's going to go anywhere with this, but because, yes, he may live in paradise, but if it's alone, it is a lonely paradise. And would you still consider it to be a paradise? 2, you won't be able to share that paradise with anyone else if he doesn't know how to get there. I don't know if where I'm going with this is the same way where he's going with this or not. But basically, imagine you're just walking, you have no idea how you got there, you made it into paradise. Now you don't know how to get out of this paradise to bring your friends and family over, so you're stuck in paradise alone. Is it a paradise at that point?
He just took a walk and he landed up in paradise. After this long walk, he felt little tired. So he thought, oh, I'm tired. I wish I could rest somewhere.
Right there, it's paradise. Sleep on the ground.
He looked around, there was a nice tree, underneath which there was very cushiony grass. So it was inviting. He went and put his head down there and slept. After a few hours, he woke up, well rested, and he thought, oh, I'm well rested. But I'm feeling hungry. I wish I had something to eat.
Okay.
And he thought about all the nice things that he ever wanted to eat in his life. And instantly, all those things appeared in front of him. You need to understand, the service is like that.
Yeah, for the rich people. I'm trying to understand where he's going with this. I'm trying to predict it, basically. I wonder if he's going to say this person is bored. He lives in a paradise where everything he wishes comes true. If there's no struggle in life, life becomes boring? There's one saying that I've heard, I don't know if it's a popular saying or not, but it's just a sheer fact that what makes life interesting is the things we learn every day. Once we know everything, life becomes boring.
Hungry people don't ask questions. Food came and he ate. Stomach became full. Then he thought, oh, my stomach is full. I wish I had something to drink. All the nice things that he ever wanted to drink, he thought about it, and all of them just appeared.
Either he's going to be bored or he has no one to share it with.
People don't ask questions. So he drank.
I'm sorry, I would be asking, like, if I wanted something to appear, I'd be like, that is a bit suspicious.
Now with a little bit of alcohol in him, you know Charles Darwin told you, all of you are monkeys, your tail fell away. Not me, Charles Darwin told you that you were all monkeys and your tail fell away and then you became human. Yes, definitely the tail fell away. But the monkey, in yoga, we always refer to an unestablished mind as markata, which means a monkey. Why we are referring to the mind as a monkey is, what are the qualities of a monkey? One thing about a monkey is, it's unnecessary movement. And another thing about the monkey is, if I say you're monkeying somebody, what does it mean? Imitation. Monkey…
Monkey means imitation? Well, I guess at least from my understanding, you're monkeying someone. That's not a terminology we use. You're monkeying around, meaning that you're just being goofy and chaotic, not necessarily in a bad way, just like being really goofy. Copycat is something that you're imitating someone.
and imitation have become synonymous.
Huh.
So these two essential qualities of a monkey are very much the qualities of an unestablished mind. Unnecessary movement,
Is he saying moment or movement? Unnecessary moment. If it says moment, I don't quite understand what it means. Unnecessary moment of a monkey. Unnecessary movement where monkey's just moving around. Okay, I can understand that.
you don't have to learn it from the monkey, you can teach it to the monkey. And imitation is full-time job of the mind. So when these two qualities are on, a mind is referred to as a monkey. So this monkey became active within him. He just looked around, thought, what the hell is happening here? I asked for food, food came. I asked for drink, drink came. There must be ghosts around here. And ghosts…
Oh! Wow.
Oh, the ghosts have come, they're going to surround me and torture me,
Oh, Jesus.
he thought. Immediately the ghosts surrounded him and started torturing him.
Wow.
Then he started screaming in pain and said, oh, they're going to
Oh,
kill me.
jeez.
And he died.
Wow.
Just now he said he's a fortunate being. The problem is he was sitting under a kalpavriksha or a wishing tree. He asked for food, food came. He asked for drink, drink came. He asked for ghost, ghost came. He asked for torture, torture came. He asked for death, death happened. Now don't go looking for these kalpavrukshas in the forest. You can barely find a tree these days. A well-established mind, a mind which is in a state of samyukti, is referred to as a kalpavriksha.
I will say that story went completely, well, so far went completely different than my thoughts of that.
If you organize your mind to a certain level of organization, it in turn organizes the whole system. Your body, your emotion, your energies, everything gets organized in that direction. Once all these four dimensions of you, your physical body, your mind, your emotion and the fundamental life energies are organized in one direction. Once you are like this, anything that you wish happens without even lifting a little finger actually. It would help to assist it with activity, but even without doing any activity, you can still manifest what you want if you organize these four dimensions in one direction and keep it unwavering in that direction for a certain period of time. Right now the problem with your mind is, every moment it is changing its direction. It is like you want to travel somewhere and every 2 steps if you keep changing your direction, the question of you reaching the destination is very remote unless it happens by chance. So, organizing our minds and in turn organizing the whole system and these 4 basic dimensions of who you are right now in one direction, if you do this, you are a kalpavruksha yourself.
So is he saying basically that maintain focus, focus your energy onto the tasks that you want done, and it will be done, as opposed to, say, there is a major task that you want done, and then you're being sidetracked or being distracted from your focus that you end up doing other things, and then eventually you'll never get to your destination because you're so distracted. That's what I'm understanding so far, which, yes, I do believe that. I mean, sometimes it's hard to. A lot of people, I guess, set a goal in mind, and they do. How do I say? That goal is not necessarily obtainable at the beginning of when you set that goal. So, for example, if I set a goal to do something right now, it's a goal that is not something that I could obtain right now. Otherwise, it's not a goal anymore. I obtain it and I'm done. It's more of a goal, if a long term, a long term achievement, a long term process. There's many steps in the middle that you have to achieve to reach that goal, and you have to find. I guess you have to find out what those steps are, but you must focus and maintain what your goal is, and achieve things that will help you obtain that goal as you proceed through life.
Anything that you wish will happen. But right now, if you look at your lives, everything that you have wished for till now, if it happens, you have finished.
Yeah.
Everything and everybody that you have desired for, if all of that lands up in your house today, could you live with that?
Oh, maybe it's going to.
Once we're empowered like this, it's very important that our physical action, emotional action, mental action and energy actions are controlled and properly directed. If it is not so, we become destructive, self-destructive. Right now, that is our problem. The technology, which is supposed to make our life beautiful and easy, has become the source of all the problems that we are…
I mean, the problem is, I have this saying, I don't know if anyone else said it before, anything that can be used for good can be used for bad. But I don't know about vice versa, anything that's bad can be used for good. I mean, I guess you could look at certain poisons and stuff that is necessarily bad, but they may be able to find something from it to benefit humankind. But anything, generally speaking, that's good can be used for bad.
destroying the very basis of our life, which is the planet. So what should have been a boon, we are making a curse out of it.
Yes.
What has brought incredible levels of comfort and convenience to us in the last 100 years or so has also become a threat to our life simply because we are not conscious action, we are in a compulsive state of action.
Yes.
So organizing our minds fundamentally means moving from a compulsive state of activity to a conscious state of activity. You might have heard of people for whom they asked for something and beyond all expectations it came true for them.
Did he say ask for something? It made me think of something, self-fulfilling prophecies. Basically meaning that if you believe in something, whether it's true or not, whether it's going to actually happen to you or not, the more and more you believe in it, and the more and more actions you take to try to prevent it, the more and more likely it will become true. I believe that's the right way to say that.
Generally, this happens to people who are in faith. Now, let's say you want to build a house. If you start thinking, oh, I want to build a house. To build a house, I need 50 lakhs, but I have only 50 rupees in my pocket. Not possible, not possible, not possible. The moment you say not possible, you are also saying, I don't want it. So on one level, you're creating a desire that you want something. On another level, you're saying, I don't want it. So in this conflict, it may not happen. Someone who has some…
I will say, when I say obtain a goal that you're going to obtain now, but it's a goal that you work towards.
faith in a god or in a temple or whatever, who is simple-minded. Faith works only for those people who are simple-minded. Thinking…
Well, so I don't know how necessarily it's taken across around, at least in the U.S. Simple-minded could be looked at as a negative term because you're basically, your mind is not. It's kind of hard to say because it could mean a couple of things. My thinking is very different, not very different, but is different for some parts. But I could see it taken two ways. One in a negative way, as in you're so simple-minded, meaning that you can't think complexly, you can't process a lot of things. You're very simple-minded. Or two could be like, you're simple-minded, meaning that you're not still something to do with complexity, but you're not a very complex person. You're very straightforward with your thinking. You don't try to overcomplicate things. But I think maybe it's generally, in at least from what I can tell, it's generally speaking as in a negative connotation. Even though I don't think he's talking like that here, but I believe he's thinking like that. You don't overcomplicate your life, and that way your mind can focus on task and make a difficult task very simple.
People who are too much thinking, for them it never works. A childlike person
Sorry.
who has a simple faith in his god or his temple or whatever, he goes to the temple and says, Shiva, I want a house. I don't know how, you must make it for me. Now in his mind there are no negative thoughts. Will it happen? Will it not happen? Is it possible? Is it not possible? These things are completely removed by this simple act of faith. Now he believes Shiva will do it for him and it will happen. So is Shiva going to come and build your house? No,
No.
I want you to understand, God will not lift his little finger for you. What you refer to as God is the source of creation. As a creator, he has done a phenomenal job, there's no question about it. Could you think of a better creation than this? Is it in anybody's imagination to think anything better than what is there right now?
I'll say some people will argue yes, but the problem I think with probably what some of the arguments will be no free will. A lot of people probably will think, I know what makes a perfect kingdom, or a perfect whatever, a perfect earth, but when they explain it, they don't realize they're gonna say there's no free will in there. Because a perfect kingdom, or perfect whatever, perfect earth, everyone's good, no one's bad. So what does that mean? If you have no choice but to be good, you have no free will. Therefore, you cannot make any decision that you want unless it's only good, and only at that point your decision will be granted, basically. If it's a bad thought, it can never occur, you can never have it, you will never make that decision. The lack of free will is the perfect place, it's a perfect prison. I don't know if that made sense, but I think from what he's saying here is that we live in an earth that's very beautiful because we have choices in life to make, good and bad. There is no way to have a perfect world. I think it's impossible. Now, is it possible later on? I don't know. I don't think so, but I'd love to be proven wrong about that one. But because of free will, we will always have bad, but we can make the earth the best place we can.
So
I need
as
to
a
stop doing
creator,
this.
he has done his job wonderfully well. But if you want life to happen the way you want it, because right now, the very crux of your happiness and your well-being is this: if at all if you're unhappy, the only reason why you're unhappy is life is not happening the way you think it should happen.
Yep.
That's all it is. So if life is not happening the way you think it should happen, you're unhappy. If life happens the way you think it should happen, you are happy. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
So if life has to happen the way you think it should happen, first of all, how you think, with how much focus you think, how much stability is there in your thought, and how much reverberance is there in the thought process will determine whether your thought will become a reality or is it just an empty thought. Or how you do not create any impediments for your thought by creating negative thought process.
Okay.
This possible, is something possible or not possible, is destroying humanity. What is possible and not possible is not your business, it's nature's business. Your business is just to strive for what you want. Right now you're sitting here.
I am.
If I ask you two simple questions…
Okay, I can't wait for this one.
I want you to just look at this and answer this.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right now from where you're sitting, can you just fly off?
The reason why I'm really thinking about it, because I'm thinking of all possibilities. Right now, I could think of ridiculous ways, but, no.
You say no?
Yes. I mean, no, yes.
Right now from where you're sitting, can you get up and walk? You'll say yes?
Yes.
What is the basis of this?
Well, I don't, I joke around a little bit. Unless you're in a wheelchair, you can't move your feet. But obviously, I know what he's talking about.
Why you say no to flying
and
yes to walking? Because past experience of life, many times you've gotten up and walked, never did you fly off. Or in other words, you're using the past experience of life as a basis for deciding whether something is possible or not possible. Or in other words, you have decided that what has not happened till now cannot happen in your life in future. This is a disgrace to humanity and the human spirit. What has not happened till now on this planet can happen tomorrow.
Exactly. We don't know what the future holds. Can we say anything is possible? Sure. How realistic it is a different story. To say that humans will be able to fly unassisted one day, basically meaning that we can fly using only what was part of us, like wings. Unassisted meaning that we don't put a jetpack on or we don't hop on an airplane. That is a completely different story. But that's what I'm saying. It's highly unlikely we will be able to fly. Obviously, we're flying now, but to fly off on our own accord is a bit unrealistic. But maybe many, many, many billions or however many years, maybe eventually we will. But I mean, you don't know what the tomorrow is going to happen, what tomorrow will bring, should I say? But think positively, think realistically, and it can happen.
Human beings are capable of making it happen tomorrow. So what is possible and what is not possible is not your business. That is nature's business. Nature will decide that. You just see what is it that you really want and strive for that. And if your thought is created in a powerful way, without any negativity, without any negative thoughts bringing down the intensity of the thought process, the first and foremost thing is…
I think we may have a little bit of a collide of thoughts there. He's saying what is possible, what is not possible. It's not of your business. It's nature's business. Just think of what you want, and eventually, I think it'll happen. I believe that's what he's saying. I think you should be aware of what is and isn't possible. That way, you set realistic expectations of yourself and achievable goals. But maybe I misunderstood him somewhere there. Maybe I did. If I did, let me know.
You must be clear what is it that you really want. If you do not know what you want, the question of creating it doesn't arise. If you look at what you really want, what every human being wants is, he wants to live joyfully, he wants to live peacefully. In terms of its relationships, he wants it to be loving and affectionate. Or in other words, all that any human being is seeking for is pleasantness within himself, pleasantness around him. This pleasantness, if it happens in our body, we call this health and pleasure. If it happens in our mind, we call this peace and joy. If it happens in our emotion, we call this love and compassion. If it happens in our energy, we call this blissfulness and ecstasy. This is all that a human being is looking for. Whether he is going to his office to work, he wants to make money, build a career, build a family, he sits in the bar, sits in the temple, he is still looking for the same thing. Pleasantness within, pleasantness around. If this is what we want to create, I think it's time we addressed it directly and commit ourselves to creating it. So you want to create yourself as a peaceful human being, joyful human being, loving human being, a pleasant human being on all levels. And do you also want a world like this? A peaceful world, a loving world, a joyful world? No, I want greenery, I want food. When we say a joyful world, that means everything that you want has happened. So this is all that you're looking for. So all that you need to do is commit yourself to creating it, to create a peaceful, joyful and loving world, both for yourself and everybody around you. Every day in the morning, if you start your day with this simple thought in your mind, that today, wherever I go, I will create a peaceful, loving and joyful world. If you fall down 100 times in a day, what does it matter? For a committed man, there is no such thing as failure. If you fall down 100 times, 100 lessons to be learned.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I was a bit confused. Like, no such thing as no. You learn a lot more from your failures than you do from your success. But what he's saying is basically, I guess he's saying that basically failures are lessons learned, not really failures. I get you. I get you.
If you commit
Which I do agree. Every failure should be a lesson learned. Otherwise, it is truly a failure if you don't learn nothing from it.
yourself like this to creating what you really care for, now your mind gets organized. Once your mind gets organized, the way you think is the way you feel, your emotion will get organized. Once your thought and emotion is organized, your energies will get organized in the same direction. Once your thought, emotion and energies are organized, your very body will get organized. Once all these four are organized in one direction, your ability to create and manifest what you want is phenomenal. You are the creator in many ways. That which is the source of creation is functioning within you every moment of your life. It is just that, have you kept access to that dimension or not? Organizing the four basic elements of your life will give you that access. There are tools and technologies to do this. The whole science of yoga, the whole technology that we refer to as yoga is just about this, transforming yourself from being just a piece of creation to become a creator. It is my wish and my blessing that every human being in this world should have this access to the source of creation within himself so that he can function here as a creator, not just as a piece of creation.
So, I agree with them, absolutely. Again, I guess it goes back to the belief that I have of this is our heaven. Whether it is the greatest, most joyful thing, or it's the worst, torture, torment, sorrows. Even with all that, it is still our heaven because we have the power to change things. Obviously, I know that not every human being is going to be good. Not every human being can align their energies together. There's, I guess, I don't know if I believe in the yin and yang, but there's always, it's hard to say that there will always be good and there will always be bad in this world. And not everyone can be saved, and that is probably the sad truth of the matter. But yes, so far I agree with nearly everything he said. No, actually, I think everything he said. Again, so far, out of all the videos I've watched of his, I've agreed with everything he said, except for one thing. And that one thing is just because I'm confused about, and I need more assistance or knowledge with that, was the fact that he said that volunteering is giving up your will, having no will of your own. But I believe that I have to go back and watch that video again, but you must have your own willpower. You must be willing, you must will yourself to do things. So whenever you do something, you will it yourself, not because someone else says it, but because you want to do it yourself. Never ever do something that you don't want to do yourself. That can create very bad situations. So be sure that whenever you do something, it is because you want to do it as well. And basically kind of focus your life like, okay, is this something I want to do? Yes, it is, and let me do it. Don't do something that you're not willing to do, because that will create turmoil in your body. I'm trying to phrase it the way he says it, because if you're like, I don't know if I want to do this or not, and then you do it, you're sitting there, it's like, oh, should I have done this? I don't know if I should have done that. What if this happens? What if that happens? So you need to make sure that whenever you do something, that you want to do it yourself more than anything. Can't wait to do some more of this guy. Amazingly until July. I want to watch more of this guy. I don't live in a city that's very populated, So I don't think I'll ever necessarily get a chance to, at least, not necessarily like, go up and say hi to him, but, at least go to one of his conventions if I could ever afford it. I don't know like how much it would cost to go to one. I'd hardly go out because I have to save money. But anyways, very interesting stuff. Can't wait to do some more. I hope you guys can follow with my journey with learning about him, and also I hope to introduce other people who are also wise and intelligent and have a very good positive message and understanding of our world that we live in. I continually strive to understand the world, understand people, and understand situations. Alright guys, if you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.